Lego Star Wars The Force Awakens on the Xbox 360. Yes, the 360. I know. What the hell? I gotta say, first of all, from first impressions, when I got the game, I did an unboxing video on it, and it actually has a bloody manual in it where you open it up and it actually has information. Like, that's incredible. Usually, you might be lucky enough to get a pamphlet thing that just has health and safety regulations, but this was great. It was a good start. You had a little manual. It actually told you some story, a little bit of detail, then a shit ton of health safety precautions, and then yeah, it was good. So that was a good start. But I gotta say that although it's a funny and quirky experience, it's a Lego game, and for me, I'm not a huge fan of Lego games. The last one I played was the Avengers or the Lego Avengers game, and I didn't enjoy it a lot, and I did find there were a number of issues with that one as well. But even with Lego Star Wars 2, I'd say it was, whatever the second one or the Star Wars one was, I even got stuck on one of the parts where I couldn't progress and I had to restart the game. And yeah, I find a lot of these Lego games are having these issues, and it's not good in terms of quality. And it's the same with this one. So you get a 5 to 6 hour main campaign, and then you also have an adventure mode, which is like a pretty much a series of side missions that you unlock by gaining golden blocks, and different areas consist of these different little unlocks that you can get, and that adds another 10 missions to the game, adding another 3 to 4 hour storyline. So overall, in terms of story-based content, there's a good 10 hours of gameplay. There's also little side missions that you can do in different hub world locations. So, for example, in the first planet, I noticed that if you drop in there, there's races, there's little fighting sequences you can do. You can go dog fighting in the ships. There's a whole bunch of stuff that unlocks. And one thing that got to me was when you complete these areas and move on and do more stuff, they don't tell you you can come back and you have all this other stuff to do. I mean, sure, yes, I knew I could go back, but they didn't tell you that you've unlocked all these different modes that you can play, or these little missions. And I mean, that's a bit of a silly thing they've done there. But in terms of the side content, it's rubbish. Trying to fly around or drive around on these little racing sequences, it's very dodgy. The mechanics are fairly broken. Nothing seems to be working properly, and the controls are shocking. Trying to glide that thing around without hitting 100 people. I mean, it's a Lego game. It doesn't really matter if you hit everyone, but you're also trying to get around things that aren't breakable as well. And it can be a hassle. And even when you go through different gates and stuff to get to the next one, it doesn't pick it up. You got to go back and you got to sit in there for maybe a second before it picks you up, and then you can move on again. And that's really bad. There was also another point where I had started a fighting sequence, which is where you go through a series of battles against other people in that location, and you go through three groups of 5 fighters, and you battle them. And when I started it, the first sequence had 5 fighters, but really there was only 4 there. So when I took 4 of them out, I'm sitting there wondering, where do I go now? Where's the last guy? Because I'm not progressing anywhere. There's nothing telling me I need to go anywhere. So what's happening? So I had to restart that mission in order to get it moving again. The thing was that when you go to another little side mission and you do that, it resets the other one. But when I completed that one, came back to him, I couldn't restart the mission. And so I'd say that's another bug that's in the game. Maybe there's something wrong happening there where you just can't seem to progress any further. But later on, I did go back in another session and actually be able to play through that little side mission. So that was nice. The problem is that when you're progressing through the main campaign missions or any of the story-based missions, is that you can't really progress you can't restart your progress to like a previous checkpoint. I found that if there's any problems that occur, you're pretty much screwed. And I did find these occur a couple of times. They weren't hugely game breaking, but they were just pain in the asses. There was one point there even when I was in a cover based system, and so you're shooting, you're actually able to lean and shoot over cover, get back in, stay secure, and then go back out and shoot again. And that's a really cool thing they've added to the game. I really love this sequence. The thing was that I had one enemy left, and I'm switching players. I'm wondering what's happening. Where's this last guy? And I find him like he's stuck in between these little explosives things to the right, and it's just off the screen there, and you barely notice him until I was really staring at the screen, going, "Where the hell's this last guy?" And I find his head bobbling up and down. I'm like, "Oh, there he is. He's over there." And having things like that is very problematic because that means if I didn't notice him, I was thought, well, I don't know what to do now. I have to restart the whole thing again, and that would be close to the middle to the end of that little mission that I did, and that really pissed me off. So things like that, it doesn't really have a nice flair to the game. Obviously, I also did incur a single crash throughout my entire playthrough of the game, which I guess isn't too bad these day and age. But I figured that if I got the 360 version, maybe I wouldn't incur all these little issues that the new consoles occur most of the time. But I was dead wrong. There's also little glitches that you can do. So as I said, in the first hub world, which is mainly the place where I explored the most, I was trying to get this gold block, not realizing that later on you can actually build something to get it after. But I was trying to get this gold block, and I was trying to do all these jumps and stuff. And then I've gone and I've accidentally switched character, and bam, I'm like in this building that I'm not allowed to access just yet. And I'm stuck in between the walls, I'm moving around, and I thought, oh, I might as well collect all these little Lego pieces while I'm here. And then I've gone switched back to the other character, and I'm all stuck inside. He's also gone through the wall and appeared right next to my character that I've already chosen or that I've selected. And yeah, I was stuck. So bam, that's a restart. And that brings us to another problem. When you restart the game, or if you've gone and replayed a mission during the campaign process, you actually spawn at the current area that you're currently up to in the main hub world. And the problem is, most of the time when you get to these little hub worlds, you're given an objective in order to kind of unlock the map or be able to even progress any sort of storyline whatsoever. And so what happens here is that you have to do that part every time you restart or you replay a mission, because you spawn there, they talk it out, they tell you, oh, you got to do this, and then you got to go do it in order to progress any further. So you have to go back. So say I was in the Millennium Falcon, right? I was in there. I've spawned in there. Obviously, I've completed that part, and then I've gone and explored the first hub world that I was in. So I've done that. I think the game crashed then, so I had to restart. Then I was back in the Millennium Falcon again. Had to do that part again. I went back to the first hub world, completed the uh, little adventure mode mission, did that. Then I was back in the Millennium Falcon again. And I just figured, why am I doing it? I had done this 3 times now. Why do I have to keep doing this over and over and over again? Why doesn't it save your progress up to that point and say you've done it? But no, like you have to go through that objective again and again and again. This happens all the time, and this is so painful when that happens. It's just so annoying. Um, there are tons and tons and tons of collectibles, as every Lego game has. It's all about collecting a million pieces of Lego, collecting all the gold blocks, collecting all the red pieces, collecting all the different character skins, all the different ship designs, everything. There's tons of that. There's a nice little progress menu when you press pause, so I always enjoy a good 100% checklist. It's always good. And also the flying mechanics, although a little clunky and a little bit getting used to, it's also very fun. I really enjoyed these dog battles. I'd say, imagine like Star Wars Battlefront having this in the game. It would have been amazing. Obviously, Battlefront does have dogfights, but I tell you what, the Lego one was much more fun than what Battlefront offered. It's definitely a good experience. And there's also like little flying sections in between different locations as well that can occur, and they're pretty fun. But honestly, you just hold the button to shoot, and that's it. You just fly around. If someone's coming behind you, obviously you just got to block them. But you just destroy everything in your path. And majority of the time, when you have a mission that has that, you're going to get 100% of the true Jedi ranking, and yeah, you have no problem getting that majority of the time. I think it was only the last mission I did, or oh sorry, it was one of the adventure missions I did, where I didn't get 100%. I was pretty close. I think I hit 95 or 98% or something. But yes, these are definitely a good experiences to play. So overall, the gameplay is a mixed bag, but it's still an enjoyable experience. You get all the little jokes, the little quotes that occur. It's a trap is used a million times, but you still put on a little smirk every time you hear it. It's a fun.
It's a trap!
Admiral Akbar, it's Poe Dameron. I'm here to rescue you.
It's a trap!
No, it really is me. Into the garbage chute, Admiral.
Is it better not be a trap?
It's a fun and enjoyable experience, even though has its frustrations and its bad side to it. Now, I played on the 360, as I said, and the graphical difference is really not that big a deal. I played the demo of the Xbox One version just to see the difference, and it was barely anything. Really, the only differences you would notice is the backgrounds and landscapes look much nicer in the Xbox One version, but dead set, for an extra $20, I'm not going to pay for that. I was happy with what I got in terms of graphics. There's nothing wrong with it. And if you got both consoles, just go with the Xbox 360 version. You'll probably find there is less issues with that one than the Xbox One version, because from what I've been hearing with other people, it seems to have its issues. It has its problems. But that's what most current gen games have these days, and that's what we face. So overall, if I was to give it a rating, I'd probably give it a 7. 7 out of 10 is probably a fair mark due to all the different issues and frustrations you get, but it's still an entertaining process. And actually, if you were to go out and look at this game, I'd probably rent it or borrow it from a friend or something, because if you're not a big Lego person like I am, you're probably not going to go back to it too much. There is definitely a ton of extra stuff you can do in the game. Obviously, replayability of collecting stuff you missed. You can also go and do free play, which allows you to use a mix of different characters that aren't part of the actual storyline in different missions. But I probably won't be doing that. Maybe I will for achievements, but I don't think it will happen for quite some time. I think there's much better stuff to play right now. So that's it